Welcome to Pembrey Race Circuit, the home of motorsport in South Wales, for the penultimate weekend of the 2022 British Truck Racing Championship season. It's been a magnificent season so far for the big rigs all across the UK, and they have been blessed with some fine Welsh weather on this autumn weekend for their penultimate race weekend of the season. A total of 19 trucks are here ready to do battle. Ryan Smith holding the lead in Division 1 points as he looks for his incredible 7th consecutive title, with the likes of Stuart Oliver, the 10-time champion, David Jenkins and John Newell chasing hard, while in the less powerful Division 2 trucks, it is Luke Garrett who leads the way in the points. Race number 1 of 5 this weekend on the rolling start then. Ryan Smith and Stuart Oliver have qualified on the front row. John Newell and number 81 Mark Taylor in their MANs on the second row. Third row is David Jenkins alongside Simon Reed in his Iveco. Michael Oliver and Stephen Powell on row 4. Craig Reed, unfortunately a non-starter, suffered problems with his Iveco in qualifying. Starting alone on row 5 will be Tom O'Rourke, and then Ricky Collett and Simon Faulkner completing the dozen trucks in Division 1. As we say, unfortunately, Craig Reed out for the weekend, engine damage after problems in qualifying. Then there's a gap on the grid, and we have the less powerful Division 2 trucks with Luke Garrett should be on pole. Unfortunately, he's had problems in qualifying too and is a non-starter in this race. So it is Jock Borthwick who heads up the grid, number 32. John Powell, number 6. Adam Bint, number 5. And next then Brad Smith, John Bowler and Craig Evans, number 10, round out the grid for this 15-minute race in the sunshine of South Wales. It is time to go racing. We are underway here at Pembrey, and a great start by Stuart Oliver in his Volvo VNL. The 10-time British champion leads Ryan Smith down towards Hatchett's hairpin for the first time. Moving up on the inside is Michael Oliver. There's no way he's going to get the truck stopped. He hits the back of Stuart Oliver. Oh, chaos into the hairpin. Mark Taylor involved, Simon Reed, everybody else going wide to avoid them. And it's sheer mayhem on the first corner there. Simon Reed was flipped up into the air. Michael Oliver just seemed to completely miss his braking point. It's John Newell who's taken the lead, but surely they're going to have to stop the race with several trucks stranded there on the outside of Hatchett's hairpin. Division 2 have had to fight their way through this lot. Stuart Oliver's getting going, so is, I think that's Simon Reed in what's left of the 89 truck. We'll have a look again what's happened there. Michael Oliver, number 12, up the inside, locks up the brakes. There's no way he's going to get the truck stopped. He hits the back of his father Stuart's truck and then cannons into Mark Taylor. He hits Simon Reed. Look at the height of Simon Reed's truck there off the ground. He nearly flipped over. Ryan Smith and David Jenkins forced to run wide. John Newell taking the lead in the number 18, but with Mark Taylor's truck, or what's left of it, still stranded on the track there at Hatchett's hairpin, surely the race is going to have to be red flagged. There's the battlers in Division 2 further back in the order. Not surprisingly, the red flag comes out. How is Simon Reed still running in what's left of that 89 truck? Stuart Oliver's got going again as well, but the race has been stopped. The marshals will be given the chance to clear up the debris. There's a lot of debris down there. Look at the state of Mark Taylor's number 81 MAN, the Taylor's transport truck. That's going to need a tow back into the paddock. Michael Oliver, I don't think he'll be restarting either. Look at his front wheel. His suspension looks like it's bent there. He's making his way, taking a shortcut back towards the paddock. Have a look again at the start. Michael Oliver was tight to the inside on the pit wall. His father Stuart taking the lead in the Volvo, but then Michael Oliver just threw the number 12 MAN up the inside. There was no way he was going to stop for the hairpin. He glanced off the back of Stuart's truck, spinning him around and then smashing into Mark Taylor. And look at Simon Reed on the outside. He was lucky not to roll over there. That delayed half of the rest of the pack. John Newell it was who got through on the inside of the number 18 to take the lead. But the race red flagged and the heavy equipment brought out to recover Mark Taylor's number 81. So, getting ready for a restart then. Stuart Oliver restarting from the pit lane. We are minus Simon Reed, Mark Taylor and Michael Oliver. Of course, Craig Reed and Luke Garrett did not take the initial starts. They're not out there. 15 minutes for the restart then. Let's hope they get round Hatchett's hairpin okay this time. The Welsh flag will be dropped to start Division 2 further back. This time Ryan Smith has got it right in the number 1, and the 6-time consecutive champion leads the way through Hatchett's hairpin with John Newell in second place. Up into third is David Jenkins, the former champion in truck number 69. He's got Stephen Powell, the former Division 2 champion, in behind him. The battle is joined already in Division 2. Jock Borthwick, the Scotsman, in number 32, looking to close on Luke Garrett at the top of the points, with Luke not starting this first race after a problem in qualifying. This is his ideal chance to close in. through the Senna corner towards the back of the circuit, then on towards Brooklands. David Jenkins giving chase to John Newell for second place. We saw Stuart Oliver there, who has started from the pit lane. Out of Brooklands, then down towards Carter's Curve, and David Jenkins is having a look on the inside here for second place, but he has to move back in behind John Newell. This is allowing Ryan Smith, Flying Ryan, to get away at the front in his new MAN. Started the season in the bonneted Daimler truck. The Daimler Freightliner has now been sold to a team in Australia. Across the line they go. Fourth place is Stephen Powell, then it's Tom O'Rourke in fifth position. Behind him is Ricky Collett. Simon Faulkner in his Iveco is in seventh place. This slightly depleted Division 1 field after that Schmozzle on the first start. Good to see Tom O'Rourke going well, has had a difficult season so far. Division 2 meanwhile is being led by the white MAN of Jock Borthwick, the Scotsman, ahead of John Powell in second. Adam Bint's Volvo is third, and here comes another Volvo. Stuart Oliver with the headlights ablaze round the outside of Craig Evans in the number 10 MAN. Through Brooklands they go. Now coming up on Simon Faulkner, the relative newcomer, his first full season of truck racing in the number 92 Iveco, and he's been caught by the Division 2 boys. Through Carter's Curve, John Powell in the DAF trying to challenge Jock Borthwick. This is their chance to try and close, as we said, on Luke Garrett, who's failed to start this race. Luke looking for his third Division 2 title this year. The two bonneted Volvos together, the slightly older machine of Adam Bint there on the outside. He's got ahead of John Powell in the number 6, but Stuart Oliver in the more powerful Division 1 truck powers past both of them as they come through Dibeny and over the crossing. There's Brad Smith just ahead of John Bowler in the Union Flag livery truck, then Craig Evans, and Simon Faulkner has dropped to the back of the field. Coming towards the end of this first race of the weekend then, and Stuart Oliver closing up nicely. He's caught Tom O'Rourke now. Good recovery drive through from the pit lane. Out of Hatchett's hairpin up towards Spitfires, and then through to the left Dibeny. Here's a battle in Division 2. Brad Smith ahead of Craig Evans, and Brad Smith locks up. He's going to go sideways through Hatchett's hairpin. Power slides the Unity recovery truck, and he recovered that very nicely. Chased by Craig Evans in the number 10, but we are in the closing stages of this first of 5 races for the British Truck Racing Championship, and there is the checkered flag. Ryan Smith it is who takes a flag-to-flag win in this restarted race. Second will go to John Newell. It looks like David Jenkins came over in third place in Division 1. So we'll check out the full results in just a moment. Ryan Smith starting his weekend as he means to go on. We'll wait to confirm the results in Division 2 as well. Jock Borthwick leading all the way. Still the battle going on between Brad Smith and Craig Evans. This is for 4th in Division 2, so battles all the way down the order in the sunshine of South Wales here at Pembrey. The second visit to Pembrey this season for the championship. It's Jock Borthwick out front in Division 2. This will help his points challenge after a slightly disappointing Snetterton in the last round over in Norfolk. Good to see Adam Bint up there in second place, but it's a win in Division 2 for Jock Borthwick, making his long journey from Scotland worthwhile. Second for Adam Bint and third for John Powell. Check out the full and official results in a moment then. Thankfully things slightly quieter on the restart after that pile-up on the first corner. Eliminated 3 trucks. Hopefully we'll see Simon Reed, Michael Oliver and Mark Taylor back out as Adam Bint power slides in celebration. But it is a win overall and in Division 1 for Ryan Smith, and nearly 6 seconds ahead of John Newell, with David Jenkins completing the podium ahead of Stephen Powell, Ricky Collett, Stuart Oliver and Tom O'Rourke. Jock Borthwick in 8th overall wins Division 2 ahead of Adam Bint, with John Powell next, then Brad Smith holding off Craig Evans, John Bowler next home and Simon Faulkner the final finisher, because of course Michael Oliver and company didn't take the restarts. Let's head down to the paddock from an update from our pit reporter, Pointy.
To Ryan Smith, if we can. He's obviously found his own way here on a scooter. As I said, this is how they transport around once they get out and have a chat. Did you have a nice chat to the circuit commentary?
Yeah, really good. I'm just glad to get to the end of that race because, again, we had engine problems, but look, we finished that race. It was so important. Congratulations to John Newell as well, who was going really well.
Very well. It was an interesting, a couple of laps. I mean, he was creeping on you. I noticed he had fastest lap nearer the end there as well.
Well, you just get noises in your head and you hear every note bang. And on the first start, Stuart got me on the stock, so I had no power. And
yeah, a lot of people thought, was that a jump? But then we look back and no, it definitely definitely wasn't a jump, but you just...
Fair play to Stuart, it didn't jump. It was just we had no power, and I was really concerned, and I just thought, do you know what? I just need to score points. Not win the race, score points. And there's 9 races left, and just got to be careful with them trucks coming down the grass, because, you know, Simon Reed's truck nearly went over.
So you were quite far forward. So, I mean, did you see how Michael Oliver ended up so far onto the grass?
Well, I don't want to get into it, you know. I can't...
You were looking forward, that was all that counted.
Look, whatever happens with Michael, I don't wish him no non-finishers or Stuart or any of the other competitors. I wish him to get to the finish line, get safe to the family, and I wish that to everyone.
Jack Borthwick, what a race, my goodness. You sort your net out. How are you? You look very happy with that result.
Oh, what a struggle, honestly, what a struggle. And I seen Adam in the back, and the front end, struggling with the front end. You've got to try and just go that slow in to get front end grip so you can accelerate out and compromise, because front end's no good. So we'll have to go and do some work on it.
Well, you were saying to me earlier on, actually, that you had a bit of understeering issue, so I take it you tried the new tyres, it just wasn't working for you, right?
I was. I done what you suggested, Point.
Obviously, it's my fault that you got first, obviously.
Put new tyres on, it didn't make a bit of difference, mate. And you promised me it would.
Obviously, it's down to the driver. Sorry, Jock. Sorry.
Always back to the driver.
Let's see if Ryan Smith and Jock Borthwick can make it a double in their respective divisions then. Ready for race number 2. The grid for this one set by the second quickest time set by each driver in the qualifying session. This time it's Stuart Oliver who goes up into pole position in the number 7, the 10-time champion, alongside 6 times consecutive champion Ryan Smith in the number 1. John Newell and Mark Taylor again filling the second row, with David Jenkins and Simon Reed on row 3. Hopefully Simon's made it back out for this one. Michael Oliver will be back out on row 4, hopefully alongside Stephen Powell in number 3. Craig Reed won't be racing after his problems in qualifying, so Tom O'Rourke will be on his own on row number 5. And Ricky Collett and Simon Falk are completing the Division 1 grid. Then we have got Luke Garrett alongside John Powell. I can tell you Luke Garrett is there this time. He will be on the grid alongside the number 6 of John Powell. Adam Bint and Jock Borthwick will be on the second row. Brad Smith, John Bowler and Craig Evans completing the Division 2 grid. So Stuart Oliver leads them round. Just one Reed Truck Sportive Eco out there we can see, with Craig sadly out for the weekend with his problems earlier on. We get underway then with race number 2 of the weekend here at Pembrey, and Mark Taylor and Simon Reed are at it again. Simon getting pushed onto the grass there as they head down towards Hatchett's Hairpin. Let's hope Division 1 all make it round this time. Ricky Collett charging up the outside, but it's Stuart Oliver who has got the lead. Ryan Smith has run wide onto the grass very briefly there. Thankfully, they've all made it round without tangling this time, and Ryan Smith has dropped back a couple of spots. Bit of contact there with Mark Taylor, who seems to be shoving his way to the front. There's the orange MAN of Luke Garrett leading Division 2. We've got a spinner, though. Brad Smith in the number 16 has spun it just before reaching Hatchett's Hairpin. There may be a little bit of a damp patch on the road there, possibly, and the number 16 truck spinning out. We'll have a look again there as they were on the brakes for Hatchett's Hairpin. Was there some contact in there, possibly? No, it looks like he just got sideways under braking. May have put a wheel on the grass on the inside, and round goes the number 16 of Brad Smith. So he's got ground to make up. He'll do so from the back of the field. Ryan Smith recovering as well after running wide on the first corner, side by side with the 81 of Mark Taylor. The team have done well to repair that truck. Meanwhile, Luke Garrett, eager to make up for lost points. He failed to start the first race. He's leading Division 2 this time. But it's Stuart Oliver who leads Division 1 ahead of John Newell and David Jenkins. Those three have escaped at the front of the field. Fourth place in this one is Ryan Smith, the championship leader. There is one weekend to go in the season after this on Bonfire Weekend at Brands Hatch in Kent. That's going to be an absolute firecracker of a weekend, as the championships will be decided in both divisions. Stuart Oliver leads the way, looking to keep pace with Ryan Smith. Here's the battle in Division 2. Luke Garrett from John Powell. Third place is Jock Borthwick, number 32, the race 1 winner. Then it's Adam Bint, John Bowler in the Union flag livery daffers at the inside. John Powell having a look, and he's gone through to take the lead. So John Powell takes the lead in Division 2, and Luke Garrett's down to third. Jock Borthwick has come through. Has Garrett got a problem again? Have his gremlins that struck in qualifying befallen him again? Because it's unusual to see Luke Garrett drop back down the order like this. John Powell now leads Division 2. Garrett under fire from John Bowler and Adam Bint for third in the division. Stuart Oliver, meanwhile, still leads Division 1. John Newell up there in second. They head up towards Senna. Halfway round the lap, there's a bit of bumping and boring there. John Bowler's Daff and Adam Bint in the Volvo nearly goes off onto the grass. They're slipping and sliding around. John Bowler goes straight on as a result of that at Spitfires. He's onto the grass. So we lose the number 14. I think he's got some damage there, John Bowler. I think he may have pulled over. So we lose the number 14. Plenty of truck sporting damage, and there's a bit more rubbing as well. Simon Reed pushes his way past Tom O'Rourke at Senna. What's got into these drivers today? There's push and shove and crash bang wallop everywhere. You can tell it's almost the end of the season. The championship not decided yet. And Luke Garrett in trouble. I was right. His gremlins have struck again. The 42 truck is pulling over at the left-hander at Dibeny, heading towards the crossing. There's the Division 1 leaders behind. Stuart Oliver still ahead of John Newell, David Jenkins and Ryan Smith as Luke Garrett pulls over right in front of our camera at the crossing. He is out of the race. There's less than a minute left on the clock now, and in fact the red flag is coming out because of those two trucks, so we know John Bowler has stopped on track as well. Also Luke Garrett, so the red flag comes out with just under a minute left on the clock. That will be a declared result. The checkered and red flags are out, so it will be a win for Stuart Oliver. Makes up for his disappointment in race number 1. So Stuart Oliver will take the win ahead of John Newell in Division 1. We'll confirm the results in a second. Oliver ahead of Newell. David Jenkins takes third place. Ryan Smith having to settle for fourth. Mark Taylor makes up for the non-finish earlier on with a fifth position. Sixth goes to Stephen Powell ahead of Ricky Collett, Simon Reed and Tom O'Rourke. It's John Powell who wins Division 2 in 10th place over Jock Borthwick. Simon Faulkner next home, then it's Bint, Evans, and of course we lost Luke Garrett. So plenty of entertainment and action once again in race 2 for the British Truck Racing Championship here at the Pembrey Circuit. A very lively weekend for them, to say the least, so far. And we'll head down in a moment to Pointy for an update from the paddock.
John, congratulations. Absolutely fantastic effort. Well done. We spoke to you at the end of the last race and we spoke about your fuel. Do you reckon that's what might be behind the success?
Absolutely. Well,
a bit more teamwork than just...
Maybe a bit of talent somewhere. I'd like to think so, but yeah. No, just got a clean start, you know, and I think Luke's obviously got a problem, so managed to get past him. And the rest is history, really. So, you know, I'm really happy with that.
That's fantastic. And with all your panels as well, not something that we can say for many of the other drivers.
It's been a long time coming. I can just wash it and park it back up.
Well done, Stuart Oliver. I got my little Welsh flags up here. We're sporting the Dragon. So, how did that go for you?
110% better than the race before.
Certainly.
Yeah, but no, that was good. You know, I knew I had the legs off the start because obviously I had a good start in the first race before the red flag. So I just had to get round turn 1 clean and just pull a gap and just get fastest lap on the board and then just settle down to a rhythm.
Getting ready for the third of our 5 races this weekend here at Pembrey. The reverse grids come into play. The top 8 from the results of race 3 reverse to give the grid for race number 3. Top 8 reverse from race 1, I should say. So Simon Faulkner and Tom O'Rourke should be at the front for this one, ahead of Stuart Oliver and Ricky Collett. Stephen Powell and David Jenkins on row 3. Ryan Smith back on row 4 alongside John Newell. Mark Taylor and Simon Reed on row 5. Michael Oliver, who of course failed to take the restart in race 1, will complete the Division 1 truck. Simon Faulkner, I believe, though, has elected to start from the back of the Division 1 grid, as he is a relative newcomer to truck racing. The reverse grid in Division 2 as well, based on the results of race 1, sees John Bowler and Craig Evans at the front, ahead of Brad Smith and John Powell. Adam Bint and Jock Borthwick on row 3, while Luke Garrett, having failed to start race 1, starts at the back for race 3. Now, just to repeat there, this grid based on the results of race 1, but with the top 8 finishers in each division reversed. Very smart MV Commercial DAF pace truck there on the front of the grid. Simon Faulkner has elected to start from the back of Division 1, so Tom O'Rourke and Stuart Oliver will lead the field down towards the first corner at Hatchett's Hairpin. Here they go. Into that first turn they go, and it's a good start by Ricky Collett up the outside, and there's contact once again. Stuart Oliver gets turned around in truck number 7. More chaos on the first corner, and Tom O'Rourke just didn't seem to break at all there. He went straight on into the first turn at Hatchett's Hairpin, has taken out Stuart Oliver. Angley gets his foot down and rejoined. Let's have a look again there. Ricky Collett had made a good start up the outside, but watch the 86 truck of O'Rourke. This doesn't seem to break at all. He uses Stuart Oliver as his brake going into Hatchett's Hairpin, spins the Volvo aside, and then seems to be heading off for Pembrey Town Centre almost. Complete chaos there. We'll see who has taken the lead as a result of that. We can't seem to get round Hatchett's Hairpin without incident. Good to see Michael Oliver back out there, but it looks like it's David Jenkins out front in truck number 69. But look back at the number 7 of Stuart Oliver, smoke pouring from the rear tyre where the bodywork is rubbing on it. Tom O'Rourke has got going again in truck number 86. A long way behind them. He's behind the Division 2 trucks and will have to fight back. There's Division 2 in the background. John Bowler's taken the lead, but the red flag has come out again. Red flag out again. We'll see again what happened. Yeah, so O'Rourke is straight into the back of Stuart Oliver, uses him as his brake, spins him around, then disappears off up the escape road. Stuart Oliver can't believe it's happened again for the second time in 3 races. And with Ricky Collett running wide, it was initially David Jenkins who had taken the lead, so we will try again with a restart over the full 15 minutes to this race 3 of this rather chaotic weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. And it's Tom O'Rourke this time who does get it right, takes the lead into that first corner. No Stuart Oliver out there in the number 7 by the look of things, unless he's starting from the pit lane again. They all make it through Hatchett's Hairpin just about this time, and it's O'Rourke that leads, Stephen Powell in 2nd place, Ricky Collett in 3rd, David Jenkins in 4th. Then we've got the Division 2 boys further back behind, John Powell and John Bowler duking it out for the lead. I think Stuart Oliver, yes, has joined in from the pit lane once again, and off goes Craig Evans in the number 10 over the grass. What has got into these drivers this weekend? They're all over the place. O'Rourke leads the way then in this restarted race 3. I think we've had a red flag in every race so far this weekend. Over the line they go. Rumble of these fearsome 5-ton racing trucks. David Jenkins didn't get the best of starts this time. He battles his way up the inside of Ricky Collett in the 95, takes 4th place away. John Newell in there as well in the number 18. He saw him the runner-up in race 1 earlier on. But it's Tom O'Rourke from Southern Scotland out in front, the boss of MV Commercials, who leads. A change for the lead in Division 2. John Powell, looking for his 2nd win of the weekend, has taken over. Luke Garrett's in there as well. He's got Stuart Oliver recovering behind him. Problems there. That's Mark Taylor. More contact for the 81. We didn't quite see what had happened there, unfortunately, to truck number 81. He really has been in the wars this weekend, and John Powell's been taken wide. He's tangled with Brad Smith. Round goes the 16 truck. Oh dear, more chaos in Division 2. Another spin for Brad Smith. He's left churning up the grass on the outside. That's coming out of Brooklands, I think. He'll have to rejoin at the back, just as he did on the initial start of this race. We'll see again what happened. They were behind Simon Reed, and Brad Smith just lunged up the inside, bashes into the side of John Powell. John doesn't give way. They lean on each other, and as they come out of the corner, John Powell is going to come back across, clearly looking a bit aggrieved there, and takes Brad Smith around. Now, it's certainly all kicked off in Division 2 there. Brad Smith has got the 16 truck moving again, and that's Jock Borthwick out. The 32 truck has come to a halt now. So something's happened for Jock Borthwick, and that's going to put a dent in his hopes of catching Luke Garrett in the points. He stopped on the track just before the crossing, coming through Dibeny. Is that going to be another red flag? I wager it is. Well, everybody seems to be hitting problems here at Pembrey today. We'll wait to see. I think the red flag is going to come out again from the marshal on the start line. Yes, it is. The race is stopped with 11 minutes left on the clock, and we'll wait to see if we're going to get another restart here. The truck's being sent back into the paddock, so maybe this race is going to be restarted later on. We'll wait and see what's going to happen here with another stoppage. There's a checkered flag out. We'll wait to see if a result's going to be declared or not. We'll just have to find out, I think, perhaps from down in the paddock with Pointy in a moment.
Well, not quite the start we had hoped for here at Pembrey Circuit. As you can see behind me, we've got all of the trucks lining up, not in Parc Fermé, of course, because that race was cancelled. We had 2 restarts, serious damage on the first corner, again involving poor old Stuart Oliver that got rear-ended by Tom O'Rourke there in the first corner. And then the second race went even worse with Div 2 action. We saw Jock Borthwick breaking down. We saw Craig Reed slamming into the side of Mark Taylor, who sent them both sideways. We had Brad Smith and John Powell action on the first corner as well. Fantastic to watch, I'm sure, but not what the teams wanted to have to deal with this early on the Sunday. Now, the good news is we've had confirmation from the clerk of the course that hopefully, as long as there is time at the end of the schedule today, we will rerun race 1 of today. So there are no points won or lost for whatever you want to call that first attempt, but of course we will hopefully have time later on.
OK, thanks very much, Pointy, for the update there. Race 3 will be rerun later in the day. We're ready for race 4 then, and it is Simon Reed, this time in pole position for Division 1, with Ricky Collett alongside. This grid, based on the results of race 2 earlier in the weekend, the top 8 again reversed in each division. Stephen Powell and Mark Taylor are on the second row. Ryan Smith and David Jenkins, big rivals on row 3. John Newell and Stuart Oliver will be on the 4th row. 5th row is Simon Faulkner and Michael Oliver, son of Stuart, while Tom O'Rourke got a grid penalty for contact earlier on. He starts from the back of Division 1. The Division 2 grid is headed up by Brad Smith, with Craig Evans alongside him. Adam Bint and Jock Borthwick next, although Jock Borthwick, after his breakdown earlier on, is out for the weekend, sadly. The Scotsman will not be racing again this weekend. John Powell and Luke Garrett, row 3 for Division 2, and John Bowler will start from the back. Getting ready to get underway then with race number 4 of the weekend, this action and incident-packed weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. Good start by Ryan Smith, having a look up the inside in the number 1, but it's Ricky Collett, the heavy haulage company boss from Yorkshire, who has the lead into the first corner. Simon Reed, also a haulage company owner, he's based in Stoke-on-Trent, side by side with Mark Taylor for second place. Stuart Oliver's gone wide onto the grass there. He just can't seem to get any luck at the start of races this weekend. Meanwhile, Brad Smith hoping for better luck. He's had a few spins this weekend. He leads Division 2 around Hatchett's hairpin for the first time. And certainly it's going to help Luke Garrett this weekend, because Jock Borthwick, we've been told, is out for the weekend. There's contact there, though. Garrett and John Bowler make contact coming through towards the crossing. Bits of bodywork everywhere. These truckers are out for blood this weekend. There's damage to the front of the 42 of Luke Garrett. He's up on the grass there, coming out of the crossing up towards Senna. Behind them is John Bowler and Adam Bint. John Powell is boxed in at the back in the number 6 truck, trying to make his way through. As they start to sort themselves out, it's Brad Smith in the lead of Division 2 at the moment, as John Bowler runs wide, nearly loses it coming out of Brooklands corner up towards Carter's Curve, then Honda Curve to end the first lap of race number 4 of the weekend here at Pembrey. Ricky Collett and Simon Reed battling it out for the lead. They're side by side towards the end of the lap. Mark Taylor in 3rd place. Stephen Powell, Division 2 champion in 2020, in 4th position. Simon Reed going for the insides. They come out of Honda Curve into the start-finish straight. They're almost leaning on each other. Ryan Smith having a go in 5th place as well. Who's going to take the lead here as they come into the hairpin? It's side by side in there. Ricky Collett round the outside. He gets it sideways. And Simon Reed is there in the Iveco. Takes the lead from the MAN. Mark Taylor goes through as well, with Stephen Powell on his tail. Ricky Collett keeping his foot down, though. David Jenkins is in there too. Ryan Smith up the outside. They're all over each other. And Stuart Oliver is out. Stuart Oliver, an up and down weekend to say the least in Division 1. That'll put a dent in his hopes of catching Ryan Smith in the points. Meanwhile, Brad Smith continues to lead Division 2. Just got past Simon Faulkner in the Iveco number 92, and Luke Garrett goes wide. Through goes Craig Evans. Don't tell me Luke Garrett's in trouble again, as Brad Smith continues to try to improve his fortunes this weekend in Division 2. Craig Evans has got ahead of Garrett. Then it's Bint and John Powell, but it's Simon Reed who leads with 4 minutes left on the clock. Ryan Smith is up into 2nd place. Ricky Collett dropping back into the clutches of Stephen Powell. David Jenkins. And behind them is John Newell having a look up the inside. Oh, he tags Stephen Powell. Out onto the grass goes the Yorkshireman. Just keeps his foot in there, but he's lost out to Michael Oliver, who's now having a go at David Jenkins. Stephen Powell trying to get into the podium places in the number 3, and they're still at it in Division 2 as well. Luke Garrett's under fire from John Powell and Adam Bint. They bounce off each other coming out of Hatchett's hairpin. Damage to John Powell's bodywork there on the side of the number 6. There's bits of bodywork everywhere coming through the crossing. Ricky Collett hanging on ahead of Michael Oliver, and now Stephen Powell and David Jenkins tangle up. What is going on this weekend? It's been absolute mayhem, the truck racing here at Pembrey. The big crowd are absolutely loving this. Meanwhile, one man hoping to see the checkered flag, and we are on the last lap now, is Simon Reed, because Ryan Smith has caught him. Can the MAN pilot get ahead of the Iveco down towards Brooklands Corner for the final time? Well, Simon Reed has repaired that damage from the first quarter of race 1. And he's going to justify the Reed Truck Sport team's efforts here. They've already lost Craig's truck in qualifying on Saturday. He was out for the weekend. Division 2 are still at it further back. But in Division 1, it looks as though Simon Reed is going to hang on for his 3rd win of the season ahead of the championship leader, Ryan Smith. Here they come towards the checker flag. It's going to be close. The win goes to Simon Reed. 2nd place goes to Ryan Smith. Simon Faulkner a lap down behind. They're way ahead of the rest. We'll wait to see who's going to come through for 3rd place. Meanwhile, we'll cut back to the battle in Division 2. This is Adam Bint, Luke Garrett and John Powell fighting it out. This is for 3rd place in Division 2. It's going to be Brad Smith who will win the category in the number 16, having led from the start. They've got Tom O'Rourke behind them in the 86, who has had problems somewhere along the line. What a chaotic race once again here at Pembrey. There's a fair amount of clearing up to do for the marshals. Now, thanks as always to our volunteer marshals, the Orange family. We couldn't go racing without them. There's the checkered flag for Division 2. Brad Smith and Craig Evans in 1st and 2nd places. So the rest of the trucks come over the line then. And it is a win in Division 1 for Simon Reed, a win in Division 2 for Brad Smith. Simon Reed, the winner ahead of Ryan Smith, who got a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits, but still keeps his 2nd place. Ricky Collett takes 3rd, ahead of Michael Oliver. Then John Newell back in 5th, ahead of David Jenkins, who recovered from that tangle with Stephen Powell. He was 8th behind Mark Taylor. Brad Smith wins Division 2, ahead of Craig Evans. It's Adam Bint in 3rd, ahead of John Powell and Luke Garrett, with Tom O'Rourke, the final finisher. Complete chaos there once again in race 4. Great entertainment though for the public here in South Wales. And 2 more races to come. We've got the rerun of race 3 as well as the scheduled race 5. First of all though, we'll head down to Pointy in the paddock for an update.
Simon, congratulations, buddy. You've got to be elated.
Yeah, no, spot on, mate. Spot on. Yeah, just, kept it real, I suppose you could say. And obviously on the wheels, so jobs are good.
It was a great start and a battle throughout. I mean, Ryan Smith was gaining on you. I believe he got fastest lap, 0.5 of a second, 0.05 behind you the whole time.
Yes.
And it was tight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I saw him coming up. Obviously, the more you push it, we've been on these tyres. Decided to keep them on, obviously because of the first race scenario. And yeah, just push the hell out the tyres. And in the end, at that point, you're just trying to stay on track without trying to make a mistake. And that's what we did, and just kept it going, and jobs are good.
So a bit of damage yesterday, straight back on. You've actually got brother Craig helping you in the paddock this weekend.
Yeah, no, spot on. He knows how to make stuff happen. And all the team, to be fair, the truck was looking great sorry for itself, and they've just turned it round, cracked on, straight out for the next race. Rock and roll. Can't fault them at all.
Well, who knows what's going to happen in race number 5. Next up then here at Pembrey. It's certainly going to be interesting to see the championship points coming up for the British Truck Racing Championship in both divisions. We know that Jock Borthwick is out for the weekend, so he won't be making inroads into the championship lead held by Luke Garrett. Race number 5 of the weekend coming next. Ryan Smith looking to get back to winning ways. The grid based on the results of race 3 from earlier today, but with the top 8 finishers in each division reversed once again. Certainly the weather has been fairly kind here in Wales so far this weekend. The second visit to South Wales for the British Truck Racing Championship in 2022, and they will be heading to Brands Hatch on Bonfire Weekend. Do not miss the action from that one. It's going to be an absolute firecracker of a meeting to decide the championships this year. Race number 5 about to get underway then. Ryan Smith at the front of the grid this time. A little bit smoky as he gets away ahead of Michael Oliver. And the Welsh flag will drop for Division 2. It is Flying Ryan who leads the way down into the first corner at Hatchett's Hairpin. Ricky Collett up there on the outside of Michael Oliver for second place, but Collett's gone sideways. He's lost it. Ricky Collett hits problems already, so Michael Oliver up into second place. Somebody else spinning out at the back there. It's Tom O'Rourke in the 86. More problems for the Scotsman. And further back in Division 2, it is Luke Garrett who has got through to the front in 42, hoping his truck holds the distance this time ahead of John Bowler and Brad Smith. Ricky Collett's recovered from his spin, is just in front of the Division 2 field there. It is Ryan Smith who leads the way in the early going of this British Truck Racing Championship. Race 5 of the weekend. We've got the rerun of race 3 still to come, of course. Ricky Collett holding off the Division 2 trucks there, led by Garrett. Bowler in second in that hand-painted DAF number 14 with the Union flag design. It is Ryan Smith out front in the number 1. Up towards Honda Curve for the first time, trying to pull away from Michael Oliver in second place. Stuart Oliver is back in the pack, one of his main rivals. It's John Newell in third place. David Jenkins is fourth. Then Stephen Powell in fifth position. Final rounds of the season on his home circuit. He lives just down the road from Brands Hatch. Would dearly love to take at least his second Division 1 win. His first came at Thruxton earlier this season, and the team celebrated like he'd just won the title. There's Stuart Oliver behind Simon Reed. The Division 2 pack have caught Simon Faulkner's Iveco going through on the inside at Hatchett's Hairpin. John Powell up behind Brad Smith, and there's contact between them. Well, we've seen them clash more than once this weekend, and again Brad Smith is spun around. Simon Faulkner goes off in avoidance. There's a bit of needle here, I think, between John Powell and Brad Smith. There's a rivalry developing there, I think. And once again, Brad Smith straight back on the throttle and gets going again. We see it again here. Into Hatchett's Hairpin. John Powell goes for the inside as they start to exit the corner. Contact. And round goes Brad Smith. Craig Evans and Adam Bint just avoiding them. Simon Faulkner onto the grass in avoidance. Well, Brad Smith has kept it going. Ryan Smith continues to lead the way with 8 minutes left on the clock meanwhile. Second place, it is Michael Oliver with a whole train of trucks building up behind him. John Newell is there in third position. They head towards Honda Curve. There's a cloud of smoke on the outside. Ryan Smith's off. Ryan Smith's gone off on the outside of Honda Curve. Look, there's the MAN. He's stranded. Now, is that a mechanical problem, or has he slid off there into the grass? The yellow flag's waving. If he's stuck there, that's going to be yet another red flag. This Ryan Smith, look, he's bogged down in the grass. Now, whether something broke there or whether he's just slid off, you can see the tyre marks on the right of your screen. Cloud of smoke up. I think that's a mechanical problem for Ryan Smith, and he goes sliding off and bogs down in the grass on the outside of the corner. Now, surely that's going to be yet another race stoppage with Ryan Smith stuck there. Michael Oliver has taken over the lead ahead of John Newell. Wait to see if the red flag comes out on this race 5. Yes, it does. We have another race stoppage. I think that's every race been red flagged so far this weekend. Clouds of smoke from the MAN. We saw it blow a turbo in the last round at Snetterton. He said he was having a few problems with it earlier on in the weekend, and I think that's the truck expiring there rather than a mistake by Ryan Smith through Honda Curve. He's bogged down in the grass there, and the heavy equipment needed again to tow Ryan Smith back into the paddock. Well, the race being restarted over the shorter distance of just 6 minutes, which was roughly what was left when the red flag went out, and we will try again. John Newell and Michael Oliver leading them off. They're in the order that they were in when the race was halted. They're side by side up towards Dibeny. Michael Oliver in his MAN leads the similar machine of John Newell. Stephen Powell is in third place. Then we have got David Jenkins fourth. Stuart Oliver is in fifth position. Division 2 is being led by Luke Garrett ahead of John Bowler. Now, can Michael Oliver hang on for what will be his second win of the season? John Newell looking for what I think will be his first. Clear of Stephen Powell third, David Jenkins fourth, then Stuart Oliver. This is an ideal chance for the likes of Newell, Jenkins and Stuart Oliver to close up on Ryan Smith a bit in the points, with Ryan out of the race. Wait to see if he reappears for the rerun of race 3. Over the line they go in this slightly reduced restart. Still Michael Oliver under fire from John Newell, who's having a look on the inside as they go into Hatchet's hairpin. And is that Michael Oliver off at Spitfires? It is. Michael Oliver's gone off. What's happened there? We've lost our leader. Now, whether he's spun out or whether he's pulled over, I'm not sure. But I think that's a problem with the number 12 truck there that has forced him out. And it's John Newell who has taken up the lead ahead of Stephen Powell and David Jenkins. We'll see it again here. He just suddenly slides off to the outside, spins out. Presumably he's got bogged down in the grass there. Is that going to be yet another red flag? In so many incidents this weekend, I don't think there was any contact there. We're on the last lap now, and it's going to be a win for John Newell, the man from Rotherham, in his MAN. He takes the checkered flag. Stephen Powell comes through for second. A totally unpredictable weekend this has been for the British Truck Racing Championship. Division 2, meanwhile, is won by Luke Garrett, ahead of John Powell, and Brad Smith recovering for third ahead of Adam Bintz. We'll confirm that result in a moment. Well, Michael Oliver had the race at his mercy there when spinning out with a couple of laps to go, and it's John Newell who inherits the victory just ahead of Stephen Powell. David Jenkins third ahead of Stuart Oliver. Simon Reed fifth ahead of Collett, Taylor, O'Rourke and Faulkner. Division 2 win going to Luke Garrett to get his weekend back on track ahead of John Powell and Brad Smith, the two battlers from early on. Then Bint, Bowler and Evans completing the finishers in race 5 here at Pembrey this weekend. Still the rerun of race 3 from earlier on to come. We hope to see all the trucks that hit problems in that one back out for race 3 a little later on. But for now, let's head down to Pointy in Parc Fermé.
Well, as you can see behind me, we've had a bit of a change to the order to this afternoon. The trucks are going straight back to the paddocks now. No Parc Fermé. Results will be decided for that previous race. Not sure whether anybody's going to get told off for anything. We'll have to see. Clerk of the Course has messaged the group and said that there will be a judicial hearing and an announcement regarding that after, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the completion of race 3, which means, as far as we're aware at the moment, we are going to try for a rerun of the original race this morning. So it's getting very busy here. I've been told I'm not allowed to stop any drivers or talk to them because there's that little time. You can feel the energy in the paddock now, everybody rushing around, the teams not knowing what's going on. It really has been a colossal nightmare for everybody involved with the sport this weekend, whether it be teams, BARC, scrutineers. It's all going completely mad.
Completely mad it has been, Pointy. We're ready for the rerun, meanwhile, of race number 3 here at Pembrey from earlier on. This will be, I believe, a 10-minute restart. That's the original grid for race number 3, but things, I think, lining up in the order that they were in when the race was halted earlier on. So a slightly different grid we will see to this one. It's going to be Tom O'Rourke and Stephen Powell who will be at the front of the Division 1 grid. I can see lined up down there behind the MAN Pace Truck, sponsored by GT Tyres, the official tyre partner of British Truck Racing. David Jenkins and John Newell are on row 2 for this rerun. Certainly has been a confusing weekend all round, but the crowd have loved it. The drivers have certainly done their best to entertain, even if the racing has been rather chaotic at times. John Newell going for his second win of the weekend from row 2. Tom O'Rourke looking for his first of the season, alongside Stephen Powell looking for his second win of his debut season in Division 1. We get underway then. It is a slightly reduced distance of 10 minutes for this rerun of race 3. It's a good start by Stephen Powell from the outside of the front row. Can he get ahead of Tom O'Rourke around the outside? No, he's going to run wide. Also in there is Michael Oliver. They're all running wide onto the grass. We've lost O'Rourke out wide. A bit of bodywork flies off. Powell goes onto the grass. He'll drop towards the back of Division 1, and it's John Newell who has come out with the lead. Now, what's happening in Division 2? Well, about the same as we've seen all weekend, really. Who's come out of that with the lead? It's John Bowler in the number 14, and Luke Garrett bashes into the side of John Powell. There's bodywork everywhere already, and they've only got round the first couple of corners. Well, things start to settle in then for this race number 3 rerun. John Newell it is who leads the way in Division 1. Stephen Powell, a bit unfortunate to run wide there on the first corner. He's dropped from second to last. Side by side ahead of him are Simon Reed and Mark Taylor. Stuart Oliver having a look up the inside there, trying to attack his son Michael for third place. Family ties being ditched. Stuart Oliver still in contention for the championship, of course. David Jenkins in there in second place. Truck number 69 in the Digraph Transport MAN. It's number 18 of John Newell who leads the way, looking for his second win of the weekend. Michael Oliver in third behind Jenkins, and Stuart Oliver. Ryan Smith is back out. His truck repaired after that failure in race 5. Down towards Hatchett's hairpin once again. Still John Newell who leads the way. Michael Oliver having a nibble at David Jenkins for second place. Behind Ryan Smith, it's Ricky Collett. There's bits of debris everywhere around the circuit. You could probably build almost a complete truck from the amount of debris that's been spilled this weekend over the 5 races. Well, technically 6 races, because we've had 2 parts to race 3, of course. John Bowler continues to lead Division 2 in the number 14, ahead of Adam Bint. Craig Evans in third place, Luke Garrett in fourth. Stuart Oliver trying to get past his son Michael at the inside into Hatchett's hairpin. He's had a few incidents at Hatchett's this weekend, but he goes through this time. Ryan Smith trying to follow. Michael trying to act as a buffer there for his father ahead of him as they're side by side. They make contact going through Spitfires. Ryan Smith responds in kind, and Michael Oliver goes onto the grass. Ricky Collett trying to come up past him as well in the 95. It's certainly rough and tumble in the midfield in Division 1. What's happening further back in Division 2? It's John Bowler still leading, and Ricky Collett goes wide. Tom O'Rourke capitalising there to come through in the MV Commercial MAN. Simon Reed wants some of this as well. He's sideways in the MAN, in the Iveco, though. The MAN of Mark Taylor goes through. It's frantic here in this last race of the weekend. John Newell still leading in the number 18 truck. Absolutely frantic as they head towards Honda Curve once again. Simon Reed attacks Mark Taylor. Stephen Powell in behind them in the number 3. This is for the lead in Division 2 through Brooklands. Adam Bint on the tail of John Bowler in the number 14. Simon Reed does get the move done on Mark Taylor at Honda Curve. Stephen Powell is in behind them. Still your leader is John Newell in Division 1 ahead of David Jenkins. He's being caught now by Stuart Oliver and Ryan Smith. Trying to go side by side through Brooklands. I don't think that's going to work. It's 4 trucks line astern now for the lead. Stuart Oliver having a look on the inside. David Jenkins moves across and in. There's contact and Jenkins is going to be spun out. Round goes the 69 truck. Oliver goes off as well on the outside. Well, goodness me, more mayhem in Division 1. David Jenkins recovering over the infield. Well, Pembrey is famous as a rallycross course, of course, and number 69 David Jenkins doing a bit of rallycrossing to get back on there. Let's see it again. They come together down the straight coming out of Brooklands. Oliver spins Jenkins around. The bonnet almost comes off the Volvo. He goes spinning off as well. And that's going to damage both of their championship chances there. We'll see it again. Oliver sliding to the inside. Jenkins is already moving across. They tangle up. Round goes Jenkins and Oliver goes off as well. So that's given Ryan Smith second place. There's about 2.5 minutes of the race to go. He's chasing John Newell. And what's happened in Division 2 now? That's John Bowler, who was leading the class, and I think he's tangled with John Powell. Let's see what's happened there. John Bowler goes off, coming out of the crossing, and does John Powell hit him? He's facing the wrong way, John Bowler, and wallop. Head on between the two of them. That was quite a big impact. Let's hope those drivers are okay. And the red flag is out again. Well, the checkered flag out as well. We won't, I don't think, see a restart there to what was already a rerun race number 3. So it will be a victory for John Newell ahead of Ryan Smith. It's Tom O'Rourke who takes third place in Division 1 ahead of Ricky Collett and Michael Oliver. The win in Division 2, after all that, goes to Adam Bint ahead of Luke Garrett and Brad Smith. Well, that was one of the most chaotic weekends of truck racing I have seen, certainly in a long time here at the Pembrey Circuit. The titles still to be decided. Ryan Smith and Luke Garrett still at the top of the points in the 2 divisions. But that concludes the weekend here at Pembrey in South Wales. Thanks to all the drivers, certainly, for their entertainment. We now move on to the finale at Brands Hatch in November, and that promises to be an absolute belter of a weekend. 5 races to go to decide the titles in the British Truck Racing Championship this season. But that's about all from here at Pembrey. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.